Nah, see, because Kuryaku is like a super early monster, so I don't see it returning. Because I have made severe, continuous lapse of my judgment. Because Yian Kut-Ku has made its grand return for Wilds. And this guy means a little bit more than you might think at first glance. This is the Scarlet Forest. And, how strange that for a biome which comes after the windswept plains, why does this have such a simple monster? Kut-Ku is first and foremost a starter monster, with basic attacks and very noticeable patterns that exist only to prepare you for the later hunts in games such as Rathians, which also share some of its attacks. Now hear me out. While presumably not the introductory monster of Wilds, we can almost guarantee that Capcom are designing Kut-Ku with a very different take. That being, there's a fucking lot of them! Wilds is going all in on ecology. From the families of small monsters to the packs of Doshiguma, the world will be more alive than ever before. And with this change comes lore accuracy! Well, as close as we can get to it, of course. Yian Kut-Ku is kind of a pest, boasting a massive population during periods when food is most abundant. So what a coincidence that Wilds has introduced the period of the plenty, when food and ecology are each in an upsurge. In this scene, the area is flooded with said wyverns, and to burst your bubble, no. The majority of the Kut-Kus in the background very likely aren't really there. Instead, more closely working similar to the flocks of Legiana we find in the Hoarfrost Reach, acting mostly as a environmental storytelling aspect. Not true fightable monsters, but on the other hand, Wilds maps can hold up to 7 total large monsters. At least, that's how many I have counted. So let me set the stage. Imagine a story quest set during the time of the plenty. The usual monsters that roam the maps are nowhere to be seen. Approaching the tops of the forest, a huge flock of Kut-Kus can be seen gathering, arriving to nest and feed on the extensive fauna during this period. But the mass gathering would be detrimental purely due to the destructive nature of these wyverns and the sheer amount of them. Now, let's picture these 5 Kut-Kus being present on the map. A fightable flock of 5 monsters. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell ya, that is Yian Kut-Ku's strength. One is no issue. You can easily fight against a singular Kut-Ku. With the updated fight, it may have some interesting mix-ups. But at its core, it's still a super simple monster. However, if you can't split that flock apart, you're in for an uncoordinated mess of a fight. Pretty cool, right? So let's also consider another monster's ecology, the Yian Garuga. If we guess that this area atop the forest is in fact Yian Kut-Ku's nest, the addition of Garuga could reignite the idea that Garuga is a brood parasite. Wyverns that actively disrupt nesting flocks and lay their own mimic eggs in the other's nest for them to raise instead. Including an interaction of the scale between either one or many of the Kut-Kus there would be brilliant, and continues to bring us closer and closer to a lore-accurate monster hunter. Even if we had Garuga in World, his reintroduction here would be way more significant. Plus, World's Garuga could also be showcasing the potential for new moves for Kut-Ku. I'm just saying, I really want the beak dive back. Additionally, Yian Kut-Ku could also mean that Khonshu makes its return. Another topic I wanted to talk about are the monster dens, specifically unique dens. We've already seen several in Wilds. The Scarlet Forest has Lalabarina's nest, the Honey area for Kongolala, and now, of course, Kut-Ku's nest. The Windswept Plains has Raydal's Fulgurite Den, and I would mention Doshiguma, but it seems a little too generic. The last game to do it this well was Monster Hunter 4. Nasilla had multiple territories throughout the Sunken Hollow and the Primal Forest, you would look around and see some of the largest monsters webbed up and hanging from the cave ceilings. It was some really good environmental storytelling and made the areas feel lived in. Monster Hunter World did do this, but den areas were more designed to be inhabited by multiple monsters. Almost all flying wyverns and brutes would retreat to the same few spots. These areas lacked any and all uniqueness of the respective monsters that would sleep there. So I'm really glad to see this returning. Kut-Ku should serve as a reminder that any monster can make their return, no matter how basic of a bitch they are. Except for Blangonga. I don't want him anywhere near wild.